The date, August 1672. The person, Johan de Witt. The place, the prison in The Hague. The purpose, to visit his brother Cornelius, who's been locked up on false charges of treason. The air is tense, the people outside are angry, the streets are buzzing with rumors. Johan knows that he's not exactly popular, but he's got no idea how bad things are about to get. Just moments after he steps inside, a furious mob breaks into the prison screaming for blood. There's no trial, there's no justice. They drag both brothers out into the street and beat them without mercy. It's brutal, it's public, and it doesn't even stop at death. Their bodies are mutilated, strung upside down and left hanging like trophies. The crowd cuts off fingers and ears. They even sell pieces of the corpses as souvenirs. Some even claim parts of the brothers were cooked and eaten. Now, this wasn't just a killing, it was a straight-out horror show. But in that crowd, one man isn't there to cheer. He's not shocked. He's watching everything. Because this moment, as horrifying as it is, will soon become the inspiration for one of the darkest and most disturbing paintings in art history. And in today's video, we're going to talk about that painting and why it still haunts people today. I'm talking about the corpses of the De Witt brothers. And trust me, this isn't just some old dusty artwork, it's a brutal snapshot of one of the darkest moments in Dutch history. More disturbing than any horror movie, this painting stares straight into humanity's cruelest side and captures all elements of it. Now, before we go deeper into the painting itself, let's rewind for a moment. Who were the De Witt brothers and how did they end up at the center of such a horrifying scene? Cornelis de Witt, born in 1623 in Dordrecht, came from a wealthy, well-respected family. He was brave, intelligent, and held several important political roles, like mayor of his hometown and chief legal officer. He was also a war hero, known for his leadership in major naval battles like the raid on the Medway in 1667. But as political tides shifted and support for the monarchy grew, Cornelius found himself in a very dangerous position. Eventually, he was accused falsely of treason. They tortured him, hoping that he would confess. He never did, and still, they sentenced him to exile. His brother Johan was even more influential. As Grand Pensionary, basically the head of the Dutch Republic's government, he had led the country through its golden age. He supported democracy and firmly stood against bringing back royal rule under Prince William III of Orange. That made him powerful, but also one heck of a target. Then came 1672, known in Dutch history as the disaster year. France and England declared war. The Dutch army was struggling and the public was panicking. With fear came anger. With anger came rage, and that led to the dark side of the force. Naturally, people wanted somebody to blame, and Johan, once admired, became the scapegoat. The Orangist supporters rallied behind William III, who was soon called in to take control. On August 20th, 1672, Johan went to visit his brother in prison, but the crowd broke in a rage fueled by propaganda, lies, and fear, and dragged both brothers out and murdered them in the street. You know, killed them, tortured them, dismembered them, and hung them upside down like drained animals. Then we get into the whole, cutting off body parts, souvenirs, people cooking them and eating them, yada yada yada. Oh, and their hearts were also preserved in jars. Okay, back to the painting. It shows the brothers' mutilated, lifeless bodies hanging upside down on a wooden structure. Now, the scene is quiet, but it's unbearable. No blood splatter, no action, just cold aftermath. But somehow that makes it even more haunting. What's even more chilling is that on the back of the canvas, there's a handwritten note, and it reads, "These are the corpses of Johan and Cornelis de Witt, painted from life by a famous artist as they hung from the gibbet at 11 p.m. Cornelius is the one without a wig. Johan has his own hair." Now that's right, this wasn't painted from memory or imagination, it was painted from life while their bodies were still hanging in the town square. It's a painting that doesn't just show death, It captures how far people will go when fear takes over. It's real, and it forces us to face a side of history and of our very humanity that most people would rather forget or not acknowledge. This painting it's chilling, to say the least. It's the kind of image that stays with you for a long time after you look away. From the way the light hits the bodies to the silence that echoes off the canvas. It honestly feels like it was painted right there on the spot. If cameras had existed in the 1600s, this would be the equivalent of a raw, unfiltered snapshot. You see this man at the front, holding a torch, his light cast directly onto the mutilated corpses of the brothers, exposing them to their most vulnerable, stripped-down state. They're hanging upside down, completely naked, from a wooden gibbet thrown together in a hurry. Behind them, there are dark trees and a heavy, almost storm-like sky. There's no drama, no action, just the quiet horror of what was done. And honestly, heartbreaking is the only word that fits here. These weren't just two random people, they were national heroes. They gave everything for their country. They served, they fought, they led. And yet, here they are, treated like animals, torn apart by a mob, fueled by fear and politics. Just look at Johan's face. It's the clearest one, and it's horrible. His nose is sliced off, his eyes gouged out, and his head looks like it was smashed in. You move down and it only gets worse. His stomach is ripped open, fingers and toes gone. And the most disturbing part? He was castrated. There's barely anything left, just the raw remains of where his body used to be whole. It's the kind of detail that once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's what makes this painting so powerful and so painful. It's not just showing you violence, it's showing you the aftermath, the consequences. Where Goya's Saturn devouring his son is wild and feral, this is cold, final, real. The lighting is absolutely brilliant. It focuses your eye, drags you in, and forces you to face the scene. But the feeling it leaves behind is nothing short of grim. Now, about the artist, there's no signature, so we can't say with 100% certainty who did it. But most historians agree it was Johan de Witt. He knew the brothers. He lived through that moment, and let's be honest, who else could have captured something this brutal, this exact with such an eerie sense of stillness? This painting, it's not just an historical record. It's a mirror, one that shows what happens when reason collapses and humanity forgets itself even for a moment. And that's exactly why it might be the most macabre painting in art history. Even now, the horror of that night hasn't completely faded. It's still physically present. Believe it or not, the tongue and a finger from the brothers have been preserved and are still on display as historical artifacts. But these aren't props. These are real, horrifying pieces of the past. Proof of just how far a furious mob can go when things spiral out of control. And the painting itself, it still hits hard. If you ever visit the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, you can stand right in front of it. And when you do, don't expect to just glance and move on. This piece stares back at you. It shows what happens when power, fear, and anger explode without limits. It's more than just art. It's a reminder of how easily things can go wrong and how fragile society becomes when reason disappears. And finally, there's one strange detail I haven't even talked about yet. The cat. There's a cat in the painting, and it doesn't do anything, doesn't attack or react, it just watches. Which kind of makes it even creepier. Is it just a background detail, or did the artist or whoever painted this add it for a reason? Could it be a symbol of silent judgment, or maybe just a cold reminder that life goes on, no matter how horrific things might end?